When you think of crack cocaine, what comes to mind? The 1980s and 1990s crack epidemic. Young parents strung out on crack cocaine, unable to feed their kids. Crack babies on the news. Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan. Just say no. This is your brain on drugs. When you think of somewhere that has a crack cocaine problem, places like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and even London. But did you ever think of Ireland? Of Dublin? Well, guess what? It's a huge problem here, and it's devastating lives.
The chase for crack cocaine, it's the next hit. It doesn't last very long, so it's a constant chase, so all the money's gone, and then you have kids in the background kind of watching this going on, and then when it gets too much, then the houses start getting used for crack cocaine houses, or the houses just go to bits because all the money's being spent on crack. So you go into a house and there'll be no furniture in the house.
Crack is something that the effect that it has, you see people, their mental, physical, emotional well-being, you see it going downhill very, very quickly.
It's a desperate wave of hopelessness, but there are communities fighting back. One in particular, in Tallaght, West Dublin. Tallaght has faced social issues since the population grew enormously from the 1970s. The lack of amenities and opportunities created a hopeless situation for its residents, an ideal breeding ground for drugs. Like other areas of Dublin, the heroin epidemic of the 1980s and 90s hit the area hard, the effects of which are still felt today. In the last 5 years, crack use in West Tallaght has exploded. It's not hard to see why. It's a fast and easy moneymaker for dealers and an accessible high for users in difficult situations. The Community Addiction Response Programme, or CARP for short, was set up in 1995 in response to the drug issues in the Killinarden area of Tallaght. CARP Killinarden is based in the area of social disadvantage and vulnerability with high levels of unemployment, single parents and poor housing standards. The devastating effect that crack cocaine has had on the community is very evident. CARP's pilot support programme for female crack users in 2018 was the first of its kind in Ireland, and the first to use this evidence-based approach of contingency management and community reinforcement. James Kelly, the programme manager, has been with CARP since 2013. He has seen firsthand the effects of crack cocaine.
In 2016-17, we started to notice more people coming into the service that were reporting that they were using crack cocaine, and from that we engaged with the HSE and we started offering crack cocaine pipes as part of our harm reduction service, and from there I suppose myself started noticing more young women coming in. And from conversations with them, we'd realised that it become a big issue for them and their lives and the chaos that brought. So we created a pilot program for women that use crack cocaine. And I suppose because of what they were reporting, we knew there was kids involved. So we put the program together to kind of cater to the needs of not just the woman, but I mean, we knew then as part of the program when they leave on a Friday, they get a food hamper. So we knew the kids were being fed at the weekend. So as community managers of frontline community addiction services, we've been flagging this for years. Long before we put programs into place, we could see it coming. And I suppose the lack of investment in drugs and frontline community services, I suppose when we had the crisis and the crash, the first thing to go was funding for community and addiction services or community services as a whole, so the money was pulled from there. So again, we're still playing catch up. I mean, a lot of my staff we haven't had our money back from all the money that was taken from the year, so we're underfunded. We're fighting fires basically, and as much as we're trying our best, and we are trying our best, it gets hard. We're losing staff, burnout. We haven't been able to increase wages. It's hard to, just operate on the goodwill of people and good people. Yeah, money needs to be invested. And it's not all about money, but I mean, we need to bring communities back. I'm originally from Donor Avenue, Teresa's Gardens, and the sense of community there was brilliant, even though there was a heroin issue in the 70s and 80s. And I think areas like this are starting to lose the sense of community because they're afraid. They're afraid of what's out there. They're afraid to leave the door. I mean, I'm only 50. Sometimes I don't look at people when I go into the shop because there's a group of lads sitting around the shop. I would have never thought I would see myself doing that at 50 years of age. So I can only imagine what it's for older people. and for women and young women with children. So it's intimidating as well. And I think until we invest in our communities and give our children hope, this will just get worse. So underinvestment by past governments, yeah, that's kind of where it's come from as far as I can see.
Debbie Dolan is a crack cocaine support worker. She works closely with service users who are addicted to crack cocaine. The group is full of young mothers. The group is a safe place where women can come in and do things that are not centered around drugs. Out there, drugs are omnipresent in their lives.
Yeah.
So we put together a package of a program whereby they come to a group every week. They have a key worker they can see once a week outside the group. And on part of that, then when they left on a Friday, the groups on a Friday, they'd get a food hamper, so we knew the kids were being fed at the weekend. And then the girls also get points for every time they turn up to a group. So it's a CM program, contingency management. And at the end of a 12-week program, then they can accrue them points and buy something for a voucher for something, get their hair done. I think a lot of the girls will be using it, so over time, drug addiction, their back garden would be filled up with black bags, they wouldn't put their wheelie bin out. So we'd support them to get their back garden cleared out, and then they'd come in then to be ever so proud just to put out a black wheelie bin, things we take for granted every day.
The programme participants regularly receive hampers with food, toiletries and basic essentials. With most of their money going on crack cocaine, they find it difficult to feed and look after themselves. This is a programme user who we'll call Sharon. Like the rest of the ladies in the programme, she has asked for her identity to not be revealed for fear of discrimination in her local community. Sharon has been a drug user since her early teens. She grew up in an extremely abusive household. She turned to drugs to numb the pain and has become severely addicted to crack.
I'm on drugs since I'm 14. And I just grew up in that area where I had uncles and family that were on drugs, and just the image, and there wasn't enough knowledge about drugs, or back in the early 90s about you could get addicted or sick from it, or you could get HIV or you had AIDS, or hepatitis or that. There was no information about it, you know what I mean? I always feel so loved and safe in here. No, I do. It's like my safe haven. I know.
So our programme is a little bit different because it was, you could say, developed from what actually was being presented to us, to CARP. So we had to respond to what was being presented to the programme, to the service. There was no programme at this time. So it's a little bit different in terms of, we don't have any expectations for the ladies. We just want to give them a safe space to come into the building, and that they have 2 to 3 hours where their world is not drug related. It's a safe environment. It's non-judgmental, and we respond to to the needs that are coming in. We don't have any expectations for them to change their drug use. Realistically, that happens naturally, organically, because they are coming in, and obviously we are planting seeds, at all times, but we're harm reduction at all times, because that's what's needed to with this drug, that's what's needed. But eventually, and in time, with the, when there's rapport built and when the supports are there and they know what's there for them, slowly but surely they begin to avail of one-to-one supports. They start to come out of crisis, but that's down the road. But the programme was developed for what was coming through the doors. And, it's proven to be successful because they don't have that pressure or that, you know, they're not kind of thinking, oh, I need to change my drug use straight away. It just happens because they're having that space where they, you know, where it isn't drug related.
The method of the crack cocaine program of not setting very high expectations for the ladies to immediately stop their drug use is a novel one. One can imagine the idea of drug testing every week and the pressure to be drug-free with the threat of cutting off access to the group would be detrimental to their eventual recovery. Instead, there's a huge focus on mental health and establishing one's self-worth.
The girls laugh at me, like, you know, we don't have a name on the group and we call it L'Oreal, you know, you're worth it, because we're all about building their self-esteem, like, and they literally peer support themselves with that as well. When they're outside these doors, they are judged, and their self-worth and their self-esteem is on the ground.
Discrimination of being a drug user is ever present, along with being taunted and ridiculed by the same people that are selling them the drugs.
It's very annoying that people just jump the book by other. Yeah, and so like, it's even when you're still carefully with naming them names. I'm not being smart, but carefully naming them names. How do they know that? It's people around. You know, I'm like, what I mean by something bad, people say hello to me. And then the kids don't want to crack it. And I'm like, would you I'd rather you not say it to me. You know, like, don't talk to me. Like, you don't like me. Just don't talk to me. Don't start. You know. You know, it's what it's like.
It is soul destroying, and I'm not going to paint a pretty picture there. There's very few women that I have worked with, and I've worked with a lot over the last 3 years, and every single one of them have been stigmatised in their own community. Some by their families, some by the community, you know, wherever. If they go into any agency looking for support, it's absolutely horrendous the way that they are treated. There's no doubt in my mind they are stigmatised. So that's why it's so important for someone to advocate for them. So we would do a lot of advocacy work with the clients on their behalf, with them with us. As you know, we don't, you know, we try to empower them at all times. But the reality is they are judged for their drug use, and especially women that have children. The shame that's attached to that is it needs to change. If we're gonna support these women, we have to, you know, pull the plug on all of that. You know, literally, we need to be all working in the same, off the same hymn sheet, and, you know, not to be, you know, the children, we're very focused on the children. We're mandated, you know, we do what we need to do. But however, there is no doubt in my mind that the children, when women have children, they are bell-ragged to a point where they are afraid to look for help and support. So we're very conscious of that.
It's not as simple as just saying no to drugs. The ladies have been constantly harassed and offered drugs by dealers, like sending text messages and putting notes in their letterboxes.
That stuff is really hard to live with.
Especially when you're getting taxes. 4 for 20 Theodore, quicker than Domino's. Like 4 rocks for €20. Theodore, quicker than Domino's, they're bigger than Bowers. And bring 2 friends and get a free rock. And like, that's exactly what you get.
You know, you heard there was a comment that a text message, or I think it comes through Snapchat, because it doesn't stay long on Snapchat. It's gone very quick. I'm not great on social media, but I understand that much. So I think the message would be 40 your door for a score, faster than Domino's or something. So they don't even have to leave their own houses sometimes. Another piece where crack was put in somebody's letterbox, and then they were told, well, you owe me, because they didn't even ask for it, you know. So there's a level of intimidation sometimes as well. The other piece is, you know, they're going to the shops and being called names by some of the youths in the area because they know that they use drugs. So when you're hearing that at you constantly, sometimes they start believing, well, that's all I am. And I suppose trying to help them have a bit of belief. Well, it's not all you are lots of other things besides a drug user, you know. So it's very hard for in the community at the moment. There is a lot of, crack is causing a lot of problems, intimidation, like ill health, mental, physical, you know, financial difficulties, problems within family units. It's devastating, Tallaght, I think, really.
We do everything and anything that will build that, because we believe that, you know, what comes from themselves, if they believe it, that'll come out in how they're presenting. And you know, we hold workshops around their self-esteem. We'll do well-being, and it's just all about them and what they need. And again, this group is from the participants. The clients actually tell us what they need in their program, and we respond to that. You know, especially since we've got more funding, we're able to get more stuff that you know, whatever they need, we get. You know, we go by them. It's client-led at all times.
Today is graduation day. The ladies have successfully completed the 12-week programme. Debbie is throwing a party for the ladies to celebrate, and since it's almost Christmas, the mood will be festive.
So today we're going to have week 12 of our cycle 9 of our crack cocaine programme, where the ladies who have completed the course or partaken in the course, they're going to have their certs awarded to them and their vouchers from their CM programme. And we're going to have a little bit of Christmas spirit, a bit of food and, you know, a bit of singing. Not from me, of course. But yeah, just have a bit of fun with the ladies.
Excellent. Thank you. No, it's yours. It's yours. It's absolutely yours.
I just really want to say I admire every single one of you. I really do. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and James's for partaking in with the support that we put on for you. And that for you. He's our VIPs.
All of us look out for each other. Like we can each other. You coming on Friday, we see each other, and we can just make sure you come and snails and
And every single one of you, the obstacles that you have put yourselves, what's been put in front of you, that you climb over and get on with it with the support. I swear to God, there's not a day that doesn't go by that me and James don't talk about what you've overcome in your lives, and we do admire you and the strength that is carried through this, and I have every single faith in all yous are working off different things off your care plans, whether that's loose, whether that's tight, whether that's anyone involved. Every one of yous, I have every faith yous will accomplish those goals.
We're not just crackheads, no, you aren't. So if you think of your addiction or your crack addiction or whatever it might be as the toenail on your big toe, there's much more to you than the toenail on your big toe. You're a brother, you're a sister, you're an auntie, you're whatever, a mother, you're a million other things other than an addict. So we can focus on all the other things. Maybe we'll eventually look at the big toe and go, well, probably need to get that. So it's going to become toxic.
Get that number.
Right, we do care about you. We're not just, these aren't just words, we do care about you and we want to help you, but if you don't come in the door, you can't do that. Right? So without further ado,
Yeah, I can't help feeling proud, and it's not about me, but I can't help feeling proud because I'm on this journey with them. You know, every single one of them that I work with have individual care plans, individual needs, all different stages. You know, every one of them has flourished in different ways. You know, we have some women where they're starting to have visitation back with their children. So every one of them have come through leaps and bounds. Some I'm not going to say some, I'm going to say all, and I'm confident to say that because I work with most of them. You know, they have all changed their drug use, without a shadow of a doubt.
Always believe in us, no matter how bad, like, do you know what I mean? And you always give us that.
The awareness that they have now, and they make those decisions.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and a very happy New Year.
L'Oreal!